When you talk about the difference between Winning with CPAs and other CPA programs out there, to be sure there are other CPA programs and methodologies out there. In fact, I've tried most of them and researched the rest. So before I put this together and began implementing this in my own practice, I looked at a number of different approaches that most of which I found were home office engineered programs, meaning somebody in a home office got the idea that advisors should work with CPAs, like we didn't already know that. But the problem was someone who'd never been in the field then tried to tell us how to do that. And I think for me, what I found is that most programs out there fall short in a couple different areas. Number one, most programs, when you think about the value proposition to a CPA, I think we all need to understand that CPAs, just like you and I, are wondering what's in it for them. How are they going to grow their business? How are they going to continue to increase their number of new clients? And so I think when we start with that end in mind, I think there's a couple of built-in shortfalls in most CPA programs. Number one, I think, would be that most programs seem to stop at offering to cross-refer. And the reason that I found that not to be very effective is that for you to go in and promise that if a CPA refers you clients, you're going to send clients back his way, it's not that that's a bad proposition, but the problem is the other 10 advisors that have already approached the same CPA all said the exact same thing. And I think because most advisors lack follow-through or don't have a track to run on after setting up the initial relationship, I think that's usually where it breaks down. So I think one pitfall that I see advisors make is they offer to cross-refer to CPAs. And again, because they've heard that from so many other advisors, I think the CPAs often wonder, well, why would you be any different? And I think it's important that you differentiate yourself from every other advisor that the CPA may have already talked to. Second to that, I see many programs that preach offering to split commissions. And personally, I think this is a terrible idea, and I'll tell you a couple reasons why. Number one, I think real value is not an offering to split commissions. I mean, to me, if you're offering dollars as the value proposition, that just tells me that you have nothing of value to offer other than sharing some of the earned commissions from working with my clients. And I think CPAs in particular are kind of funny about this issue because a lot of them don't want to feel that they're selling their clients out, and it makes them nervous when you start talking about commission splitting. And I think from an advisor's perspective, one of the downsides of splitting commissions is if you go in and you offer to split the CPA 25% of any business that you write, what happens when the next advisor comes in behind you and offers to split the CPA 50%? So I think that's one issue. Another concern that I have with splitting commissions is I've seen some programs that teach you to go out, get CPAs licensed, split commissions on the cases, and some of the biggest testimonials that those folks have for their programs are former CPAs turned advisor. And so one reason that I would be hesitant to get a CPA license and split commissions is any intelligent CPA that you split even a decent size case with, if they get a 25% commission split and their cut is $2,000 on an average annuity ticket, it's not going to take the CPA very long to see that they're the one that really has the gold mine with the client relationships. And so if I were a CPA, it wouldn't take me long to say, okay, I don't need this advisor anymore. I'm going to do that work and I'm going to keep 100% of the commission. So I think that's dangerous when you get the CPA's license. I've seen, again, too many times where the advisor that brings the opportunity to the table, that trains the CPA, ends up getting cut out of the deal. So that would be another thing I would caution against. So Winning with CPAs, we don't recommend splitting commissions because we feel like, you know, that's the dollars that I as an advisor or any other advisor has worked for, so they should get to keep that. But both of those points, I think, come down to differentiating yourself, because I think one thing you have to do in order to make CPA relationships work in your business is you have to find a way to differentiate yourself from all the other advisors that are talking to CPAs. And if you think about the message that they're bringing, it's always cross-referring clients or splitting commissions. So Winning with CPAs, we don't focus on either of those. It's not to say that we don't cross-refer clients, we definitely do, but our value proposition is so much different than that it really stands out when you sit down with a CPA and you share the strategic alliance concept that we've developed in Winning with CPAs. I think that's why CPAs get so excited so quickly, because it's so much different than anything they've seen before from other advisors. And let me say this too about other programs that I've seen, because I think I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on this one. I've seen programs too that will teach not just splitting commissions and cross-referring, but I've seen some models that actually teach cutting the CPA out altogether. And these would be those models where you open your own tax practice. And the thought behind that is to say, well, if you can't get a CPA to work with you, if you can't get them to refer your clients, then you become the CPA. You become the tax preparer and offer a cheap tax return. You'll get the clients away from the CPA, and then you'll become the trusted CPA. And I think the potential downside in that is that, number one, just doing someone's taxes is not what makes you the trusted professional. The reason that CPAs have so much trust with their clients is because they've done that client's tax return for years. And so it's the year upon years of relationship building as they prepare the client's taxes that builds that relationship. And that is the most vital part of making CPA relationships work. So if you cut the CPA out by offering to do the tax return, what you're going to find is, number one, you're going to have a hard time getting those clients away from their trusted CPA to come to you, because again, you're still someone that they don't know, they don't like, they don't trust, that's sending them direct mail or radio ad or whatever kind of mass advertising to do a cheap tax return. And I think the other reality is to offer a $49 or a $99 tax return, I don't think is going to attract the types of clients that we as advisors want. I know myself in particular want to work with fewer clients but higher net worth clients. And the reality is higher net worth clients are going to be scared by a cheap tax return, because I know I wouldn't let anyone do my taxes for $49. I think my CPA charges me $500 or $600, so I would think, how can you afford to do it for $49? But so I would just say that, in summary, avoid the programs that talk about opening your own tax practice. I have advisors that I've coached that have done that approach, and what they found is they end up doing a lot of tax returns for the lower net worth clients that become headaches that they really don't convert as many into tax clients. And I would say find the way, and we teach you how to do this in Winning with CPAs. If advisors find a way to form that relationship with the CPA and bring value to the table and become the go-to advisor for that CPA's practice, then the CPA relationship is the most valuable thing you can have in your marketing arsenal, because they're the ones that have the trust. So you don't want to spend the years reinventing the wheel, building the trust that's going to take years to accumulate, when you can have a CPA that already has that trust, transfer the trust that their clients have in them to you as the retirement planner, and essentially leverage the trust that they've spent years building. That's what makes the whole thing work, is being able to leverage off of the trust that those CPAs have worked so hard to build.